kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just hold me. Just hold me. Just hold me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds, and when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just hold me. Just hold me. Just hold me. Just hold me.
Welcome in, everybody, to Racers Elite. Their Xfinity series is live tonight from Iowa Speedway. I am Mike Demoni up in the booth. Glad to be back up here to call the drivers here of the Racers Elite Xfinity series. Last week, while I was gone, they headed down to Homestead, Miami. Brandon Puffenbarger led 109 laps on his way to a dominating win, winning by over 8 seconds to Ian Campbell. Daniel Honeycutt was about 17 back there as well. So that's kind of where they finished last week. And go ahead and bring around the points here as they get ready to jump on track for qualifying. Yeah, Brandon Puffenbarger leading the way at 2,268 points. 5 points back is Daniel Honeycutt. Andrew Teff back a little ways there as well. Lee Campbell, Alex Teff, Dennis Kane, Corey Crowell, Kinsley Smith, Kirby Wainscott, and Matthew Jarrett all battling it out here as we head through this race number 7 for the chase for the Cup. Like we got a few drivers out on track. Let's see if we can jump to them here. There, Marquise up there with the 24:36. Dennis Kane rolling through. See what he can do on his first time by. 2463. You can get a little more speed out of that machine there. Second lap for Marquise was a 2412. Dennis Kane was a 2411. So quite a bit faster there on his second time through. Jarrett Larder going to try and get this number 2 Chevy out to the pole. Gets loose coming out of 2. Might see that quite a bit here at Iowa. Take a look at the weather conditions. Track temp is 100 degrees. Ambient air 72. So we should start to cool off just a little bit here. Larder's going to give it another try. Timothy Hoke out here first time, 2446. Saw the other 2 drivers who were able to give it a go. Pick up about 3/10 on their second lap. We'll see if that's going to be the same here for Hoke, because he's coming through the start finish line here. His time that time by was a 24:24. Jump over here to Jarrett Larders. He's finishing up his lap here. 24:23, so he goes up third quickest at the moment. Like Kirby Wainscott's getting ready to finish his lap. Evening as usual, Joshua. Wainscott's first lap's the 24:86. Joshua Neal checking in on the chat. Out on track right now. Coming through the front stretch here. We'll see what his time is. His time is going to be a 24:23. We'll see if he can go any faster on the second time around. It looks like he got a little loose coming off of 4, but he did go a little bit faster. Still up in P3 at 24:16. Not quite good enough to go towards the pole here. Corey Crowell out on track. That 21 machine. Coming through 3 and 4 here, heading down that front stretch. Time for Crowell is going to be a 24:15. Gets up there into P3. Lee Campbell, first time by, is a 24:20. But it looks like Daniel Honeycutt outdoes them all on his first lap was a 23:98, the only one to go sub 24 so far. Crowell second lap, a 24:11, good enough for P3 there as well. Lee Campbell 24:12. These guys are all pretty close right now. We'll see what's going to happen here with Kinsley Smith as he rolls through. A little bit slower that time. Might have made a couple little mistakes there. But Iowa is a D-shaped oval. A little over 3/4 of a mile. Turns are banked from 12 to 14 degrees. Front stretch is 10. That back stretch, which I believe is probably where we're going to see most of the issues coming off of 2, is only banked at 4. So we'll see how that affects the drivers here. Like Puffenbarger's out here rolling. Watch his first lap here as he comes to that start finish line. First time by, a little slow. A 24:34 is all for him. Andrew Teff, first time by was a 24:08. Didn't go faster this time, went a 24:13. Ian Campbell up there, first lap was a 23:98. Good enough for P2 at the moment. We'll see if Puffenbarger can finish off this round here. Go any faster. Goes a little bit faster. He's going to start P8 right now with a 24:16. Got a couple minutes left in qualifying and only one driver left to go. Alex Teft out here starting his opening lap. How much speed he can carry through here. First time through a 24:20. Even pick up any speed coming out of 4 to the start finish line. Alex Teft gonna go a little bit slower there, a 24.22. So basically 0.2 of a second separate the top 10 drivers pretty much. Either Daniel Honeycutt's gonna be on the pole once again with the 23.93. Ian Campbell up there with the 23.98. Andrew Teff 24.07. And then a bunch of 24.11s. Kane, Crowell, Campbell, Marquise, Puffenbarger, and Neal with a 24.15.16. Alex Teft to 24.20. Garrett Larder 24.22. Ainsley Smith 24.24 along with Timothy Hoke. And Kirby Wainscott with the 24.30. I mean, basically 0.3 separate the whole field. So that is where they will start as they get ready to switch over to the race session. Get them all gridded up and ready to go. They are jumping in here. Let's see if we can. So Daniel Honeycutt on the pole. Ian Campbell to his outside. Go back to Andrew Teft and Dennis Kane. Roll through with Corey Crowell, Lee Campbell back there in row 3. Row 4 is Aaron Marquise and Brandon Puffenbarger. Joshua Neal and Alex Teft make up row 5. Row 6, Jarrett Larder and Kinsley Smith. Timothy Hoke and Kirby Wainscott round out this field of 14 drivers as they make their way off of pit lane here. Daniel Honeycutt has got to be feeling pretty good about where he's starting tonight, up on the front. He's done pretty well with being up there. So this is race number 7. There are 9 races in this chase for the Cup. Take a look here. Bags get set to go. Pace lights are out as it kind of gets stacked up. Pace car makes that hard left-hand turn down pit lane, and you hit that Geico restart zone pretty quick there. You see the jump the 72 Toyota gets as he floats up into the middle of the track here. A pretty good jump all the way to the high side there. Andrew Teft, Ian Campbell battling out for second. Kane and Lee Campbell for third. You have Crawwell, Puffenbarger, and Marquise all down there as well. They're still side by side back here as Ian Campbell goes from the high side down to the low side. Lee Campbell gets spun around there. Gonna catch the 00 of Kinsley Smith. The 43 of Alex Teft. See what we can see from the chopper cam here. Lee Campbell gets quite the run there on the high side of the 4 machine of Dennis Kane. Brandon Puffenbarger staying back just a little ways, not wanting to force it 3 wide. Aaron Marquise in the 41 down there as well in the middle. Then you have Joshua Neal down to the inside. Campbell gets a run, starts to pull off. 82. Looks like the 14 just turns down, doesn't see the 41 there. 82, 41 hit. Like they were doing pretty well trying to avoid it there. Kinsley Smith with nowhere really to go as he has it all locked up. Kirby Wainscott gets a little piece of it as he was trying to avoid it there as well. So you have Lee Campbell, Alex Teft, Kinsley Smith, Kirby Wainscott all on pit lane trying to get their machines serviced and back out on track. We are working lap 5 now of 163. So the average finish between the top two in this championship race is Puffenbarger with a average finish of 4.12. Daniel Honeycutt with a 3.24. They both have tons of wins. Puffenbarger's led 608 laps. The Honeycutt's 500. They're stacked back up. Lights are out on the pace car. Coming through 3 and 4 here. Pace car makes that left-hand turn. Honeycutt with the button, gets to the restart zone, and he is down and away, back out to where he was. Got a half-second kick right off the start. Ian Campbell, Andrew Teft, gonna try and, well, it wasn't going to be too much of a battle as Campbell gets by pretty easily, but Teft's coming on strong here. Like he just was a little slow on the startup there. Crowell and Kane are going to battle it out here, as they are almost side by side. Aaron Marquise goes from the high side down to the low side and slides back up behind Kane. Jarrett Larder looked like he had a little bit of momentum that got stopped up there. And Joshua Neal down to the low side as they're almost 3 wide as Marquise goes sliding up the track once again. Puffenbarger starting to close in back here. He's to the outside of Neal and just behind the 2 of Larder. Timothy Hoke, Alex Teft, Kinsley Smith all riding out the back there. Marquise down to the inside. Going to get by Dennis Kane. Larder's going to come through as well. Ian Campbell just ran the fastest lap of the race with a 24:35 as they are still battling back here just behind this lead group of 4. Looks like Kane got into that outside wall coming down the front stretch. Larder was all over the back bumper of Marquise, slid up the track trying to get around him. And that allows Marquise to continue moving forward here from P5. Larder stays up high, going to try and ride that high line, high to middle anyway. Now Marquise keeps going to the high side as they come out of corner exit and goes down almost to the yellow line as they get about halfway through the corner. We also have a battle up here between Teft, Campbell, and Crowell. Crowell down to the inside. If he's going to be able to make the pass there on Campbell. And it looks like he probably will. Larder's trying everything he can to get by Marquise, and it's just not working. And up front, Daniel Honeycutt is dealing with the lap car of the 14 of Lee Campbell. Lee Campbell doing everything he can to stay on that lead lap. Is desperately hoping that there might be a caution that comes out here. is trying to hold on here. Go back and take a look here as after that battle inside the front four, Ian Campbell has fallen off the pace now, 15 laps into this race. Aaron Marquise is all over his back bumper. We'll see if he's going to try and go high and make the pass. Larder goes way high, almost a lane and a half higher than Marquise, but Marquise slides up in front of him. Larder's running about the same line every corner, right in the middle. We're pretty close to that. Ian Campbell is getting passed on the outside by Marquise now. Puffenbarger is closing in on this group of three. Marquise is kind of bouncing around a little bit there. Take a look from the nose here of the two machine. They're trying to make their way around the track. Like Marquise almost hit the wall there, and he is slowing down quite a bit in the corner. You can hear Larder have to let off the gas almost completely there as he was right on the right rear quarter panel of Marquise. Like Larder's trying to save tires and let the car kind of roll through the corners here. Puffenbarger down to the inside is going to battle with Larder. Ian Campbell fading back quite a little ways here. Like I said, we are running 163 laps. They do have 4 sets of tires laying in the pits. Puffenbarger gets by Larder as Kane goes to the inside of Ian Campbell. They are starting to single file out just a little bit here. Go back up front and catch up with the leader here as he is able to get by Lee Campbell. Honeycutt has a almost second gap back to the 98 Ford of Andrew Teft. Corey Crawwell up there into P3. That is where they sit now, as we're getting closer to 25 laps in. Looks like Puffenbarger's going to try the inside of Marquise. Still riding down there. We'll see if he's going to be able to close the door here momentarily. Doesn't look like it as he slides up back behind Marquise. Puffenbarger tries to cross him over as Marquise slides up the track. Like he was trying to put a little block on there, but Puffenbarger was already there. Crossed him over pretty easily here as he looks like he's gonna pass Marquise and slide up in front. Like Marquise was gonna try and go and cross over Puffenbarger, but nothing doing there as Marquise carries a lot of speed in the track and slides up a couple lanes. They're going to lose a ton of speed as he does that. And P4 is now Brandon Puffenbarger. Ian Campbell down to the inside. Looks like he's going to try and start making his way back up towards the front. He was looking to pass Jarrett Larder. Ran pretty well early and then lost the car for a few laps there. It looks like he might have found something here towards the end of this fuel run. At least into the later stages of this fuel run. We got probably about, I want to say 10 to 15 laps before these guys have to come down for fuel. A couple of them might be okay for a few more laps that came down on that first caution. Ian Campbell slides up the track, uses Larder to help him make the corner there. Still battling out here on track. Like Campbell's going to be able to get the run coming off of 4 and make the pass on Larder. Larder's going to go down to his inside. Looks like Campbell is carrying quite a bit of speed through the corner there. Like he's able to keep it off the wall though. Behind them is Timothy Hoke and Dennis Kane. Not really battling too much, just kind of rolling around here, logging some laps. Joshua Neal involved in that first race caution. Alex Teft, Kirby Wainscott. Go back to Kinsley Smith, who's still on the lead lap. Just running around with a hurt car there. And Lee Campbell is falling back through the field as both Honeycutt and Teft has been able to get around him. NASCAR Cup Series is going to be coming back to Iowa next year in 2024. Lap 38. Andrew Teft trying to gain some time here, but still just under a second. Brendan Puffenbarger looking to the inside of Lee Campbell to try and get around the lap car here. Farwell slides up behind Campbell, then pulls out and goes behind Puffenbarger, trying to get more speed into that number 21 machine there. Get by Ian Campbell, Aaron Marquise, Timothy Hoke, Garrett Larder, and Dennis Kane are now hanging back here. Looks like Joshua Neal coming down pit lane already on lap, we'll call it lap 40. See if that's going to be the theme here, or if Joshua Neal just elected to come down. Doesn't look like anything happened, really. He is staying in his pits quite a while here. Guys are starting to get strung out through the field. Kinsley Smith is still running rough here. Garrett Larder coming in. Heft is going to try Honeycutt down on the low side. Like they both got a little bit loose there. They're going to be able to rein it in and still go side by side through 1 and 2. Coming down the backstretch, Teft on the inside, Honeycutt on the high side. Side by side through 3 and 4. Looks like Teft might have the advantage coming out of turn number 4, but looks like he gets a little loose. But he's still going to lead that lap. Honeycutt falls back to second by less than a tenth of a second at the line. Larder on his way out of the pits. Teft slides up. It looks like he might have almost cranked it right into the wall when he went to slide up in front of Honeycutt there. Getting close to that lap 50 mark. See where these guys elect to make their pit stops. If they can make it to lap 55, they'd be good to make this race a two-stopper here. which might be what the strategy play is here and why Honeycutt looks like he started to slow down, just rolling the corners. Let's see if we can jump on board and see maybe what he's doing from the cockpit view here. Not really. Jump up to Andrew Teft. Aaron Marquise coming down pit lane. Jump back out and take a view here. Teft coming down the backstretch, increasing his lead. Honeycutt went from a second out front to now he's over a second behind Andrew Teft. Puffenbarger back there as well, but he looks like he's going to be trying to pass Honeycutt here for second place. I imagine we're going to see almost everybody come down this time by. We'll see what happens momentarily. Headed down the backstretch. Be the first one to blink as it looks like Honeycutt pulled off and Honeycutt's headed down pit lane. We're going to try and get back whatever he had in that 72 machine. Came in as well. Like the fives coming in. Here they roll through. Ian Campbell staying out. Looks like Crowell stayed out as well. Campbell still staying out as Crowell stays out as well. Those are the only two cars that have not made a pit stop yet. Guess I don't necessarily understand why they're staying out so long. I mean, I know they have fuel to make it around, but they're losing a little over a second a lap right now as the guys are on fresh tires are working their way back around the track. Honeycutt just ran a 24:40 to Ian Campbell's 24:56 and Crowell's 26:08. Alex Teft in the pit lane. Like the 12's coming in. Crowell still hanging out there. Double zero of Kinsley Smith trying to get one of his laps back. Andrew Teft trying to get his lap back as well as Daniel Honeycutt. Crowell still leading the race here. So he will come to pit lane, as does Lee Campbell. Turn the lead over to Timothy Hoke. Hoke, Wayne Scott. Last pit on lap 4 and 5. And Hoke comes in. Looks like Wayne Scott's still out for the moment. We'll see if he comes in. And he will not, so see if he can lead a lap here. And he will. Looks like Crowell's going to try and get his lap back the hard way here. And I think the 10 should be coming in, and the 10 pulls down and will come in, which will give the lead back to Andrew Teft. And with that being said, after this round of green flag pit stops, we're going to go ahead and step aside, pay some bills. We'll be back after this. You won't miss anything as we go side by side. Welcome back, everybody, to the Racers Elite Xfinity Series on Sim Racing Media. Mike Timoney up in the booth as always here. Didn't miss anything while we were away. Like Andrew Teft is still out here running on the lead. The Hope Valley, Rhode Island Prodigy is moving through the front. Daniel Honeycutt trying to make some points up on Brandon Puffenbarger, but they seem to find each other every week out on track. They've been the two more dominant cars here on Wednesday nights. Brandon Puffenbarger back in third, up 5 spots. Biggest mover of the race so far. Ian Campbell sitting P4, down a couple spots. Aaron Marquise, Corey Crowell battling out here to see who's going to be inside that top 5 just as we go there. Corey Crowell looks like he's going to go down to the inside, make that pass, get up into P5. Dennis Kane in 7th. Roll on back to the man from north of the border, Jarrett Larder, in that 2 Chevy, running P8. Timothy Hoke in that 59 machine. Go back to Alex Teft, Kirby Wayne Scott, Lee Campbell, Kinsley Smith, and Joshua Neal. And Alex Teft is trying to stay on the lead lap. Brother Andrew closing in behind him. We are working our way through halfway of the race here from Iowa. Honeycutt and Puffenbarger side by side, inside outside. Can't seem to get past each other for the moment. Joshua Neal coming down to pit one more time. Honeycutt's trying to hold off Puffenbarger. Puffenbarger was trying to pass him on the inside. Honeycutt saw that and went down there to block, and now Puffenbarger's working that high line pretty well. Looks like he's probably going to get clear as they come out of 1 and 2 here and head down that backstretch. It looks like Honeycutt got a little bit loose there on that back end as well. See if we can jump on board the nose of this machine here. Racers Elite 72 Toyota. Everybody's getting spread out once again. Not too many people close enough to battle and make some passes out on track. Offenbarger trying to go to the inside of Alex Teft. Probably going to be able to get that pass here. Coming through 1 and 2 once again. Seems to be able to set up this corner, and it seems to be one of the stronger corners he has here. As the last couple passes he's made has both been in that 1 and 2 turn. We might even lose a bit of time through 3 and 4. As Andrew Teft is out to over a second lead now. Cuts fading back. Ian Campbell trying to get around Jarrett Larder. Corey Crowell. And nobody's really too close here, but like I said, Iowa Speedway. They're going to get their first ever Cup Series race next June. Get a Cup Series race the 16th. Xfinity's the 15th and ARCA on the 14th, so to see how that will shape up here. Kane and Marquise are battling here. He's able to hold off for the moment. Dennis Kane working that low line. As Dennis is trying to work on the nose of his machine. There, watch in his rearview mirror as it looks like Timothy Hoke's down to the inside, going to slide up almost into the 4. Luckily, he's able to hold it off and will get by and then slide up the track. See if Dennis Kane can get that Goodrich machine working here. Oh, almost touches there with Marquise, and Honeycutt's Kane's trying to figure out where he wants to go. As they're all over the track right at the moment. When everybody's gonna decide what they're gonna do here, as Andrew Teft and Offenbarger get closer on track. We kind of saw it with Honeycutt and Offenbarger as well, and also with Teft and Honeycutt. And Honeycutt was leading. Teft was about a second back, and then all of a sudden it flip-flopped pretty quickly as the driver that was in second became the leader and started to drive away. As we're working lap 99 here, gonna start 100. They were probably gonna see let's say 10 more laps, and then these leaders are going to come down pit lane as they have split the race basically into thirds here. Heft and Puffenbarger now 3/10 separate them. Is the closest battle on track right now, and it just so happens that it's for the lead. Both the drivers last pitted on lap 56, so should come in somewhere around 110, 111. Really make sure they have enough fuel to make it to the end of the race on lap 163. Honeycutt, Campbell, Crowell all have to do something a little bit different to try and make up some time and track position here. As if they do the same thing as the leaders, they're going to just wind up in the leader's wake here. Larder starting to make a little bit of time there down on the bottom side. He is a couple laps down, currently running in P12. Joshua Neal still on pit lane, been on there almost 10 minutes now. F. Poffenbarger. Everybody's quiet on the radio as they go around here. Puffenbarger gets a little bit of a run, trying to get close enough to that rear bumper. Make the dive to the inside to try and get this pass. They're running a little bit different lines, as Teff tends to stay a little bit higher than Puffenbarger in 1 and 2, and exactly the opposite in 3 and 4. As I say that, Puffenbarger goes clear up to the wall almost on turn entry. Slide down, see if he can get some speed coming off of the corner. Teff stays middle. It looks like Teff might be... Teff is coming down pit lane. Puffenbarger is going to stay out. Yeah, I couldn't tell there, Josh. Puffenbarger comes down. Ian Campbell will inherit the lead. See if he's going to come down. And it looks like he will. Corey Crowell, if he's going to stay out or come down. And it looks like he's staying out. Like I said, you're going to have to try something different if you're going to want to beat these leaders, as Puffenbarger and Teft have just been so dominant. Daniel Honeycutt already came down as well. As you see, Crowell just now putting Andrew Teft a lap down. And it looks like he's going to come down pit lane right after that. That's going to turn the lead over to Timothy Hoke. He last pitted on lap 66, so he's got a few more laps he can run out here. Still staying out. Lap 114. Alex Teft also stayed out. Andrew Teft is basically the race leader as he's trying to get by brother Alex Teft. Alex stays high. Andrew makes the pass. Puffenbarger's trying to close in on the back of Andrew here. He works his way around Alex. Andrew Teft around Aaron Marquise here. Trying to keep some distance between them. Marquise is coming. Went down a lap there. If Hoke's gonna stay out, and he's still rolling here. He is losing time to Andrew Teft pretty quickly here. He's only got an 8.5 second lead right now. So as soon as he comes to pit lane, that is all going to go away, and he's going to probably come out 7th or 8th place, depending on when he elects to come down. Andrew Teft and Brandon Puffenbarger are within almost a half a second of each other. Looks like he's going to come down this time, so that will turn the race lead over to Andrew Teft. Brandon Puffenbarger in second. Daniel Honeycutt into third. Garrett Larder is fighting to stay on the lead lap, but he won't fight too hard as Andrew Teft goes down to the inside and is going to make that pass and put another car between himself and Puffenbarger. Like Alex Teft is going to come down. Kirby Wainscott still has yet to come down. Like Joshua Neal elected to call it a night. He spent 14 minutes sitting in his pit stall trying to decide if it was going to be, he was going to be able to get it fixed before the end of the race, and he called it a night. Kind of reminds me of when Dale Jr. and Kyle Busch wrecked, and we were under caution. So that is going to set up an interesting finish here. Take a look and see what happens to Timothy Hoke. Got those 4 fresh tires. Driving down the front stretch here. Coming through 1. Oh, just carries a little too much speed on those cold tires. Goes sideways there. Trying to wait up for the pace car there. So everybody's going to come down pit lane. Daniel Honeycutt, Andrew Teft, Corey Crowell, Brandon Puffmarker, Kirby Wainscott, Dennis Kane, all in the pits right now. Teft, Puffmarker, and Honeycutt all get out pretty quickly here. To get out just in front of Jarrett Larder. I think Larder's going to come down this time by. All the drivers up in front of Andrew Teft are going to take the wave around. And it should get them stacked up, ready to go. They should be turning them loose here. Daniel, don't say that in the chat. That's not... Everybody's going to blame you now. But cautions do usually bring cautions as everybody gets on those cold tires, and then especially towards the end of the race, everybody wants to make up as much ground as they can. We'll see what happens here, especially on these little bit shorter tracks. Tends to happen. Kind of what brought out the caution anyway is cold tires and carrying a little bit too much speed. You can't drive the car the same way you did at the end of the run as you do at the beginning. See if these guys can get stacked back up and ready to go. Teft and Honeycutt are going to be in the bottom row. Top row is going to be Puffenbarger and Crowell. Oh, no. Wainscott. Crowell's down to the inside. Pace car is in. Teft with the button, waits till the very last second, and is down and away, gets about 0.3 of a second off the start. Honeycutt slides up in front of Puffenbarger. Puffenbarger goes down to the inside. And here they go through 1 and 2. Down the backstretch they come. Honeycutt slides down in front of Puffenbarger, trying to get a run on Andrew Teft. Side by side, staying off each other, racing down the front stretch. Honeycutt gets a run and is going to make that pass on Teft. We've seen how much speed that 72 machine has on the short run. 98 seems to be more of a long run car, as he was able to make the pass on Honeycutt after being down a couple seconds almost last time and driving away towards the end of this run. But we're sitting here with 32 laps to go, and Honeycutt is now out to 0.3 of a second lead, and he is running the fastest lap of the race with a 24:05. Honeycutt has got to be wanting to see Puffenbarger and Teft start battling it out. As we look back through the field, looks like Lee Campbell and Aaron Marquise are trying to battle it out. Marquise almost went sideways, able to save it before he slid down the track. So good job by him. Otherwise, that would have reset the field one more time. Real well back there. Jarrett Larder has a couple lap cars between him and Crowell. And Marquise between him and Wayne Scott. Larder's hanging in P5 right now. Hoke and Teft battling back here for 6th and 7th. Wayne Scott hanging on back there as well. Alex Teft makes a pass, slides up in front of Hoke. And they'll head on down the front stretch here. Jarrett Larder starting to close in on Dennis Kane. There's quite a ways to go, though, to get any position on the scoring pylon, as both Kane and Campbell are a lap down to the leaders. And the leader right now is Andrew Teft, out to over a half-second lead. Puffenbarger back in second, as they are going to probably start battling back here as we're inside 30 laps to go. Puffenbarger slides up and runs that high line. Teft goes low, slide back in front of Puffenbarger as they head down the start-finish line. Puffenbarger closing in as it rolls through 1 and 2. Come through the front stretch here. Go back, take a look a little bit further back as Hoke and Wainscott are kind of battling here. They're the closest battle on track. As Wainscott goes down to the inside. Hoke stays up high. Still side by side through 1 and 2. Puffenbarger to the high side of Teft. If he's going to be able to hold that line, it looks like he will. Teft slides up behind. Puffenbarger going to try and get a run now down on the inside. As they get inside hundredths of a second to each other, then the gap widens back out to about 0.2. Crowell's about a second back of Teft. And Daniel Honeycutt's a half second in front of Puffenbarger. And with 20 laps to go, we're going to step aside here, take a break, and we will be back to bring you the conclusion of the Racers Elite Xfinity Series from Iowa. Things are starting to heat up in the Racers Elite Xfinity Series. Puffenbarger, Teft, and Honeycutt all battling up here for the lead. Throw a blanket over all of them. 0.2 of a second separate first from third. And everybody wants to win here at Iowa with 13 laps to go. Puffenbarger down to the inside. Going to see if he can get a run on Honeycutt. Honeycutt leads that lap, but Puffenbarger might have the last lap as they head into 1 and 2. Puffenbarger down to the inside. Like he's going to be able to keep the pace, but just the momentum swings to that outside lane so much when you come out of corner exit. Puffenbarger again down to the inside, holding that line, slides up a little bit, gets a little loose, gathers the car back in under him, and he will fade back to third. Andrew Teft going to try his shot now, as he is out on the high side. But Honeycutt is still staying up front right now as we get with 10 to go. Honeycutt has got to be wanting to see Puffenbarger get close to Teft here, because it looks like Brandon got loose coming out of 2. Not the time you want to have that happen here, as Teft goes down to the inside. Honeycutt and Teft drag racing down the front stretch. Honeycutt still with the lead, side by side through 1 and 2. Like Teft might have a little pace advantage down on the inside, but Honeycutt has the momentum in that high line. Teft pulling ahead just a little bit, but coming off the corner, Honeycutt gets a run and will lead that lap. 8 laps to go. Teft and Honeycutt battling back and forth, tooth and nail. Neither one wants to give each other an inch. Puffenbarger trying to get a little more speed out of that number 5 Chevy. That MVP roofing machine is looking for the winner's circle. Has 6 wins on the season. Honeycutt has 5. See if Teft can battle back on that low line. Like he's going to have a little pace coming out of the corner, but the momentum swings to Honeycutt. Teft dives it in deep, see if he's going to be able to hold it this time, and it looks like he will. He'll get in front of Honeycutt. Will be 6 laps to go at the line. Honeycutt, Teft, and Puffenbarger all battling it out up front. Teft was able to take the lead there with 6 to go. Now he's got to play a little defense. Teft has got the advantage here. Honeycutt and Puffenbarger are going to be battling for 2nd and 3rd. 4 laps to go, as Teft is starting to drive away out to almost 0.6 of a second lead. Puffenbarger going to try and go to the high side. Almost gets a little loose. Gathers that car back in, and now he is losing time ever so slightly to Honeycutt. These 3, oh, and caution is out. See what happened here with Marquise. Marquise gets into the wall, goes down to the inside. And Marquise just drifting up the track on corner exit and wrecks both himself and Hoke there. Brings out that caution. Decisions. So Puffenbarger races out of the pits, gets out in P3. like he had to try something a little bit different, see if he's going to have anything for Honeycutt or Teft. Honeycutt definitely seemed to have the short run car. We'll see if Teft is going to be able to battle back here, as these will be the top 3 cars. And they are also the 3 cars that have won this season. Should get the one to go this time by. And we'll get them stacked up and ready to turn loose for this green-white checker here. We'll get them all stacked up. Lights should go out. I thought lights were going to go out, but we'll have like one more pace lap here as they're getting everybody set. So Teft and Honeycutt stayed out. Everybody else came to pit lane. And you know Corey Crowell is hungry for a win here on Wednesday nights. Got Ian Campbell down on the inside of row 3. And Jarrett Larder with a pretty good drive getting back inside the top 6 right now. Lights are out. Pace car is going to make that hard left-hand turn down pit lane. Andrew Teft hits the Geico restart zone, and he waits to about halfway and is down and away. Gets out to 0.2 of a second. Daniel Honeycutt going to be charging hard on that high side. Brandon Puffenbarger on fresh tires down low. As it looks like Honeycutt gets loose, goes clear into the outside wall. Going to cost him a couple positions here as Crowell gets by. Ian Campbell's going to try to as well. But Puffenbarger gets by Andrew Teft, and he will lead that lap as we get the white flag. We're racing back for checkers here. Puffenbarger, Crowell, and Campbell. 1, 2, 3 right now. Ian Campbell down to the inside of Crowell. Going to try and slide him up out of the way. Brandon Puffenbarger wins at Iowa. Ian Campbell in second. Corey Crowell for third. Andrew Teft fourth. Jarrett Larder. Big drive to get into fifth. Biggest mover of the race finishes sixth. And that is Kirby Wainscott up 8 spots. Offenbarger burning it down here in Iowa. Get drivers up in the booth here. Corey and Mike up in the booth. How's it going, man?
Good, Mike. How are you?
Oh, not too bad. Hey, you elected to come down on that final caution, got some fresh tires, and put them to good use. Wound up 2 spots to finish P3. How was the racing out there tonight, man?
It was good. Felt like the longer it went, the worse my car got, obviously. I felt like I could keep up with them, the leaders, at least keep pace, and then middle run they would just take away, and then end of the run it seemed like I just could keep pace, but it was a good race.
Yeah, it definitely seemed it was kind of a almost like a seesaw race. You know, you go start running up towards the front and then slow down just a little bit, and then it's almost like you were able to save tires to come back to you at the end of the run. But heck of a race. You got a couple more races left here in this inaugural season here. How do you feel headed into the last couple races?
I feel good. I mean, I'm pretty far back in the points, but just trying to pick off as many spots as I can. Try not to ruin anybody that is racing for championships night.
Definitely, man. I thought you were going to be able to pull it off here with those fresh tires, but still got up for a podium finish. Anybody want to thank before I get you out of here tonight?
Yourself for broadcasting, as always. Racers Elite putting on this amazing league. And then B. Evans Designs.
Definitely, man. Well, I will talk to you later.
Thank you.
Ian, Mike up in the booth. How's it going, man?
Pretty good. How are you, Mike?
No, not too bad. Well, that was a heck of a run. You came down, got fresh tires, and were able to hang on here for a P2 finish. How was it racing out there on this Iowa Speedway?
I had a blast at this track. It was really awesome. The strong suit for me seemed to be the long runs. I hate I messed up there on that second pit stop. I was speeding on pit road, missed my gauge. So I had gone a lap down, had to take the wave around there on the previous caution. So luckily was able to come down and get 4 fresh tires there at the end and get something with it.
Definitely, man. Well, you've been racing here a few weeks. How do you feel heading into the final 2 where we head to Auto Club and then at Texas?
Feel better about Auto Club. I think I can drive pretty well there on the long run. Texas is kind of a one groove track. It's really tough to pass. So what I give up in the short run, I might not be able to make up in the long run. So feeling better about Auto Club, but man, I thought tonight could have been the night. I think on the long run, I was pretty strong all night long.
Definitely, man. Well, congrats on your P2 finish. Anybody want to thank before I get you out of here?
Yeah, I want to thank my smoking hot wife for letting me come out here and race with you guys. I want to thank my crew chief, Larry, for calling good strategy all night, calling me to pit road at the right time. I want to thank you, Mike, for putting on this show, and I want to thank Andrew and all the guys for coming out and racing. Couldn't do it without all the support of everybody watching, too, so thank you.
Definitely, man. Well, congrats again, and I will talk to you later.
All right, thanks.
Yep. Well, welcome to the booth once again, Brandon. Well, heck of a strategy call there at the end. You were able to come in and get your 4 fresh tires and put them to good use and wind up with another victory.
Yeah, I was shocked those other 2 didn't come down with me. I know. I thought Daniel was going to come down. That's why I was trying to fake him out a little bit. But It was a good race all around. I had to do a lot of work to get up with those two.
Yeah, it definitely looked like you didn't have the winning car as far as pace goes, as Theft and Honeycutt were running pretty well there for quite a while, but you're able to make a strategy call and work your way back through the field. I mean, up 7 spots from where you qualified, and looked like you had to, like you said, had to work quite a bit all night.
Yeah, those two were faster than me on like the shorter to mid run, but if it went 50 plus laps, which only happened, well, we pitted like lap 52 into a run, so it didn't really help me. But the longer it went, the better I was compared to those two.
Yeah, definitely. Well, you got quite a few more points than Honeycutt and both Theft did tonight, so increase your lead in the championship points. You got a couple races left. How are you feeling about your championship hopes here?
Pretty good now. I know that was a short track, so that one kind of worried me a little bit, but I mean, Auto Club is a big 2-mile track, so anything could happen there. And then we finish at Texas, which Texas is always fun. So feel pretty good about it, but anything can still happen.
Definitely, man. Well, congrats on your race win here. Anybody want to thank before I get you out of here tonight?
Just you guys for putting on the broadcast, Andrew and everybody for putting on the lead, everybody for coming out, and that's about it.
Definitely, man. Well, I will talk to you later.
Alrighty.
All right, so that was top 3 finishers. Let's go ahead and run down the race results here. Brandon Puffmarger wins the race. Ian Campbell in second. Corey Crowell in third. Andrew Teft took some strategy there, but didn't pay off as he finishes 4th. Jarrett Larder in 5th. Kirby Wainscott 6th. Daniel Honeycutt, same strategy as Teft, finishes back in 7th. Timothy Hoke 8th. Lee Campbell and Alex Teft round out that top 10. Go back to Dennis King, Kinsley Smith, Aaron Marquise, and a 14th finish for Joshua Neal. So with that being said, we have 2 races left in the chase for the Cup, Auto Club and Texas. If you're wanting more action tonight, you can flip on over and watch the Moonshiners League here on Sim Racing Media, or if you want to wait for tomorrow, we'll be back on the same time, same channel, just a little bit different cars as they go next gen racing at Iowa. And with that being said, from all the drivers of the Racers Elite Xfinity Series and to all of us here at Sim Racing Media, I want to wish you good night, and I'll see you next time.